na Samy tam miał dużego kebaba, ja miałem średni kebab, to wiesz.
Welcome back to the 21 Convention 2019 of Warsaw, Poland. Our next speaker is a good personal and close friend of mine. He's an elite ambassador speaker of the 21 Convention, one of the first 3 ever. He's a veteran speaker of the convention, first speaking in 2017 and also in 2019 recently at Patriarch Fatherhood event earlier this year. He's also the host of the 21 Report, probably you know him best, and he has a huge YouTube channel. He is the most famous of the Bruno brothers. Without further ado, please let me welcome to the stage the Sultan of Silver, George Bruno.
A guy says to his girlfriend, "Ever since I laid eyes on you, I want to make love to you badly." She replies, "You succeeded." Guy goes to the doctor and says, "Doc, I have 5 penises." The doc says, "How do your pants fit?" He said, "Like a glove." I've always heard that you have, some of you just got that. I've always heard if you can get people laughing, then you have their hearts and you have their minds. So now you're open to it. I just want you to know that I dig you and I believe in you. I tell my children that every day. I have 3 kids. I will text them randomly when they least expect it and say, "I love you and I believe in you." I'd rather tell you that I dig you than I love you. But I do believe in you. And you can do whatever you set your mind and your heart to do. Now, I'm the old guy in the 21 Convention, a senior member, probably the oldest. I'm not going to talk about pickup, because to me there's nothing creepier than a 60-year-old guy talking about how to pick up girls. It's not that I haven't done it. I don't want to get up here and brag. That's not one of the things that I do. But I have some experience in that area. I am divorced. I've been through the pain and despair and hopelessness that usually accompanies that, and was at rock bottom because of that, and built myself back up with a brand new mindset. And I want to share some of those things with you. And what I want to talk about today, the title of today's talk is going to be How to Red Pill Responsibly. You see, drink responsibly, gamble responsibly, drive responsibly. Well, I want you to red pill responsibly. And it's going to be like manhood, masculinity, man up 101. The very, very basics. So first thing on that contributes to being a solid red pill man is taking care of yourself. Number 1, stomach in, shoulders back, chest out. Make sure your posture is good. I can usually tell, usually we do these receptions, like what we did last night up in the club there. And at the other conventions, I can always tell who the 21 convention people are when they walk in the door. Shoulders back, stomach in, chest out. There's a look. There's a certain look. The look of success. The look of wanting to be more successful. The look of being hungry and thirsty for more. Stomach in, shoulders back, chest out, posture straight. You know why? That's contagious. Billy Graham once said, having courage and being courageous is contagious, because the spines of men stiffen in the presence of a courageous man. You hear me? Your courage in life, how you weather the storms, is contagious to other men. How you celebrate is contagious. How you suffer, how you experience pain is contagious to other men. How you stand and hold yourself is contagious. I was telling someone, Pat, the director here, Pat, I'm talking about you for a second, has the most incredible posture. Now, I'm a slumper. My shoulders are forward. That's why I speak about posture so much, because I'm a classic kind of man belly, hunched over kind of guy, especially like with the head like always looking at the smartphone, and I've had to fight that. So I meet Pat, who stands up straight. When he walks, he's straight. When I am in his presence, my spine straightens out. In the presence of people who have good habits, you adopt those habits. You stand straighter in the presence of men who stand straighter. You suffer better in the presence of men who hold their shit together when they suffer. You celebrate appropriately when you are in the presence of men who celebrate appropriately. Number 2, keep your head high. This is related to posture. When you are walking, a little technique that I use is pretend the top of your head is skimming the ceiling. Like you're just like a half inch below the ceiling, and you want to touch the ceiling with your head. And you're skimming it, and you will walk taller. Most of you can gain an inch by standing up straighter. It's a fact. Another thing you can do is, if you imagine yourself as a marionette, strings, and a string coming out of the top of your head. Imagine a marionette puppet collapsed, and then someone's taking that string and pulling that string up, and you stand up straight. Imagine that string is taut all day long. When you're walking down a hallway, when you're in a club, when you're in other people's presence, it's contagious. People cannot slouch in the presence of a man with good posture. So keep your head high. That's not only a literal directive for you, it's figurative as well, because you heard me say how you suffer is important. Which leads me to this. Stoicism saved my life. That's why I talk about, if you watch my YouTube channel, which is George Bruno on YouTube, right now about 127,000 followers. A accidental, successful YouTube channel that I never expected to grow more than a couple thousand people, to be honest with you. I started a channel on YouTube about 3 years ago about men's grooming. I'm in the men's grooming industry. I've cut over 12,000 heads of hair and beards, and have done it well. I do everything from straight razor shaves to perfect haircuts to men's skincare. I started out working with ladies' hair, went to the top in that field. You can see what I do. I'm preeminent in my field, which means I'm the best in what I do. I made it to the top in that field and I said, you know what, I want to do men's grooming. And I moved over to men's grooming. No one knew me. Not one single person knew who I was. I made that change about 6 or 7 years ago and became one of the top 100 stylists in the world. You can Google me, and within the first 10 entries, you'll see proof of that. The solid red-pilled man has social proof. Social proof. What happens when people Google your name? What happens? You are responsible for your name. Our friend Steve the Dean Williams constantly talks about women being worthy of bearing your name. Your name is not mud. Stand proud, stand tall, head high. Your name means something. Number 3, how to red pill responsibly is smile, don't smirk. I always tell my students, your smile is the key that opens up doors of opportunity. You can get more done with a smile than a smirk. A smile without teeth is nothing but a smirk. And what does a smirk imply? That you're up to something. Smirks are the look of somebody who is questionable. He's up to something. There's something going on there. A smile is the look of a man who's open to meeting people. Not just good with women, but good with people. The solid red pill man is good with people. You can go to some seminars where they teach you how to be great with women, but they left out the other half of the population. I know guys that are experts on picking up women, but they can't have brotherhood with another man. Be good with people, and then you'll be good with women. Number 4, lead. Lead like a man. Lead. People are silently begging to be led. Don't reject people because they can't follow. Don't reject people because they can't follow. The true, responsible, red pill man teaches people how to follow him. Everybody has a different learning style. Teach your people how to follow you. I literally want you to say this after me. I want you to say, follow my lead. Say it. Follow my lead. Notice I did not say, listen to me. Or I did not say, do what I say. I said, follow my lead. You're not ordering anyone to do anything. What you are doing is inviting them to follow you as you model for them positive, gentlemanly, masculine behavior, male or female. Women don't want to be told what to do. They don't want to be told what to do. When I say to my girl, follow my lead, I see sparkles in her eyes because she is silently begging to be led. She wants that. She wants to be led. Now, this is going to be important. You need to be a man that's worthy of following, number 1, and number 2, have somewhere to lead her or people to. Did you ever ask a girl, let's do something Saturday night? Okay. What do you want to do? I don't know. What do you want to do? I don't know. What do you want to do? I don't know. Make a decision, boys. Decisiveness is one of the characteristics of a solid, responsible, red-pilled man. Be decisive. Pick out the place where you're going to go. Pick out the activity. Tell her when to be ready. She's going to love it and love you for being decisive. Wishy-washy women disappear in the presence of a decisive man. Be the leader that you were meant to be. If you can't lead successfully, then take acting lessons and act like you can lead. Because I can't tell the difference between someone who's acting successful and someone who is successful, because both will get the same results. Some people will just say, fake it till you make it. I get that. Calm. The responsible red-pilled man is calm. You bring calm into her life. As the stable stoic, you are calm. You delay your emotions, you don't deny them. There's a time and place for everything. Write that down. Delay emotions, not deny them. I don't want you to be a robot, a granite statue that has no feelings. You bring calm to the rough seas of her life. Who here is a father? Okay, you know, if you watched some of my videos, especially my interviews with Sean T. Smith and Tanner Guzzi, we talked about calming rituals with our children. You learn to help calm your children's fears, and you give them the tools they need to be able to calm themselves as they get older. The responsible red-pilled man is calm. You are the immovable lighthouse, her foundation, although you're not rescuing her, at the risk of being called a white knight or Captain Save-A-Ho, which we are not. We don't rescue people. We are the rock. If you've ever gone out fishing and you get seasick, what's one of the things they tell you? Find a stationary, immovable object at shore and look at that. Look at the lighthouse. Look at the rocks. Look at a structure on the shore. And all of a sudden the seasickness starts to calm. If you focus on the waves and the boat doing this, you're going to have your head overboard and you'll be throwing up. Be worthy of looking at. Be the rock. Be the lighthouse in her life, if that's where you are in life right now. If there's not a woman in your life, then be it for your family. Be it for your friends. Be it for your co-workers. I've noticed a change in the news these days in the United States, in that weather has now become news. You watch, the storms are coming. Get water, milk, bread, batten down the hatches. Everything's a crisis. Everyone talking about the weather. Going to be a hot one today. Going to be a cold one today. You are firm. You are the rock for your coworkers. You are immovable. You are the lighthouse of calm in people's lives. Number 6, have good breath. That's all part of TLF, the likability factor. When you're standing close to people, let me ask you this. How likable is your breath? How likable is it? You could have great things to say, but if your breath is gnarly, people won't hear a word you say. So make sure there's no stopping points. That's super important. And you probably have never heard anyone say that to you before, but that's important. Number 7, feed your mind. Read the widest variety of books that you can. Be a Renaissance man. We don't hear that phrase very often now, do we? A Renaissance man is a man of many talents and knowledge. Is your library filled with history books, philosophy books, theology books, geology, astrology, astronomy? Can you talk about a wide variety of topics with a wide variety of people, or are you just pigeonholed into only talking about one thing? If you can only talk about one thing, that usually means that you probably only think about one thing. I would like you to expand yourself. When I got divorced, I would have the kids on the weekends, and the kids would always have surprises with Dad. So one night, I was making dinner, and they said, "Where's the fork? Where's the spoon?" And I pulled out chopsticks. And I said, "Tonight we're eating with chopsticks." And they're like, "What?" It took us about 2 hours to eat dinner. I mean, they're stabbing it, they're like using 2 hands, and it was fun. But I created new neurons in their head. Learning took place. Expose yourself to different things. You know you can take a different route to work and improve your brain. Did you know if you rearrange the apps on the desktop, press, hold, and rearrange the apps on the desktop on your phone on the home page, next time you need to access Pandora or Instagram, for a couple seconds you're going to be looking for it. And you go, "Oh, there it is." And you'll do, like once a week, rearrange the apps on your phone. What happens every time you do that is you're creating new neural connections. feed your brain constantly. 8, improve your conversation skills and your speaking skills. The jury is back from deliberating, and the verdict is out, and it's this: men who speak well earn more. If you learn how to speak well, you will earn more. So if you just write anything down, write down, speak well, earn more. There's no downside. It's not like a hobby that will end up in a closet or in the garage or something that you will never use. You will always benefit from learning how to speak better. Number 9, be a teacher and a student. I have mentors that are 80 years old. I have mentors that are 30 years old. Literally half my age. I had a conversation with Alexander Cortez a couple weeks ago on the phone. I think we talked for about 2 hours, I believe it was. He didn't know it, but on my end I was taking notes as fast as he was talking. A mentor half my age. Being red-pilled means you can learn from anything and anybody. Not just credentialed people, not people with just degrees, but people with experiences. Learn from people. Be a teacher and a student. How many here have been through divorce or separation before? Okay, good. Not good that you're divorced or separated, but good that there's a few of you here. Now I've been divorced for 15 years now. I learned how to be single and be happy, which a lot of people aren't. I have no needs in my life. I don't have a compulsion to fill the other side of my bed. That's not a compulsion. You know why? Because my sexuality, our sexuality is like a gorilla. It's like a gorilla. That gorilla is in the driver's seat when you're younger, stepping on the gas and just driving like crazy. As you get older, that gorilla goes to the passenger seat. When you get a little bit older, the gorilla goes in the back seat. And then you drive the car where you want it to go. That car is your life. When you're younger, you're kind of driven by your sexuality, your sex drive. Napoleon Hill said, use that. He called it the mystery of sex transmutation, taking your sexual energy and pouring it into your work. He said a man's most wealthy years should be between 30 and 40 years old. My income has just gone up constantly as I'm getting older and wiser and applying it. And also using sex transmutation. Now, many times in the red pill community, I get mocked because my life doesn't revolve around what I do or don't do with my penis. It's a fact. Someone put a meme out on Twitter yesterday that showed like Moses on top of a mountain and they put my face on it. And the caption said, "Thou shalt not get ass." And I'm like, all right, what a bunch of children. My generation, we used to say never kiss and tell, which means that you don't have to broadcast to the world that you're getting ass, okay? Probably the most sexually active person that you know is probably someone who you think is not getting it at all. And that's their damn superpower. And all the experts on all the various little YouTube talk shows, the only thing that they're getting is a bottle of hand lotion. Let's get real. Do you ever listen to those guys? Yeah, all right. You ever listen to those guys and just think to yourself, he's not getting laid? All right, the so-called experts, intergender relationship experts. Yeah, okay, right. Be a teacher and a student. Number 10, dress like a man, groom like a man. You know why? Because people size you up in about 3 seconds. People size you up in 3 seconds. I've branded myself just kind of like with this look. It's my television look. It's my broadcasting look. It's my interview look. It's my stage look. If I showed up here with just jeans and a t-shirt, you probably wouldn't recognize me. Most people know my brand. And it's consistent across the board. I mean, all I have to do is wear jeans and a t-shirt and put on a baseball cap, and it's like wearing a disguise, because this is the look that most people are used to. Dress like a man. How can you dress like a man? Well, there's a couple things. One of the things that I have is I always have pocket squares. Sometimes they match my tie, sometimes they don't. You can buy 20 pocket squares for about $30 on eBay or Amazon. You can take the average sport coat, okay? Here's a pocket square. There's many different ways you can fold it. One of the things that I do is I just pick the center spot like this, and I just go like that. And I make it into like almost like a flower, like a bloom, and I put it in. And that's one way of wearing it. You can fold it, make the little triangle and stuff like that. This is kind of like one of my favorite ways. So literally, just grab the middle, bring it down. It's unpredictable how it's going to turn out. It's textured. Let it stick out an inch or two at the most. And automatically, it dresses this up. Now I have my mics attached to the lapels of my jacket, but I carry a blazer similar to this in my truck at home. It's on a hanger, hanging up in the truck. I could be wearing jeans and a t-shirt, and someone says, hey, we're having a party tonight, or there's a meeting after work, and I don't want to drive all the way home and get undressed and put on different clothes. So I just grab my sport coat, which is always in my truck, put it on. As soon as you put on a sport coat like this, or whatever color you want, it automatically elevates everything. And think about this. You can never be overdressed, but you can be terribly underdressed. If you are overdressed, like if I go somewhere and I'm overdressed, guess what I can do? I can take off the tie, I can take off the jacket, I can roll up my sleeves. All of a sudden I fit in with everybody. But I don't want to just fit in. I want to be just a little bit higher in social observation than everyone else in the room. I want to be the guy with the jacket. I want to be the guy with the white beard. I used to have a beard down to my belt buckle. If some of you who follow me have seen that beard for 2 years. I have an incredibly fast-growing beard. It's freaky fast. It's crazy. Like I can grow a full beard in about 3 weeks, like a beard. So I'm insane with my beard trimming. And on my YouTube channel, I probably have about 150 videos on men's grooming. So if you're thinking about having a different hairstyle or beard or facial hairstyle, check out that channel. There's a lot of good information there. But I had a beard down to here. Your beard communicates different things. My favorite place to go in the Philadelphia area where I live is a biker bar, because I find the people to be real. The parking lot is filled with pickup trucks and motorcycles. And for me, that works well. And I'll never forget, I had the big beard, and I'm sitting on a Tuesday night watching a band play some rock and roll. I had a camo hat on, a flannel shirt, and a big white beard, and drinking a beer. Within 30 minutes, what is around me? Other men with camo hats, flannel shirts, and beards. Okay? Cool social experiment here. That week, I shaved off my beard to just a goatee. Went back to the same bar on a Tuesday night, band is playing. What is surrounding me? Women, not men with beards. And I thought, interesting. So I'm documenting this. Now check this out. I don't know how it works in other parts of the world, but in the United States, when somebody buys you a drink, they tell the bartender, I'd like to buy that person a drink. So the bartender takes a shot glass, brings it over to you, and puts it upside down. That represents that somebody just bought you a drink. Within 1 hour, I had 5 shot glasses in front of me. And I'm one and done. I drink 1 beer or 1 drink because I don't drive drunk or intoxicated. I like 1 cocktail, and that's it. I don't like drinking a lot. So I'm thinking, God, what am I going to do with all these? So he'd bring over another shot glass, and he'd say, that girl over there just bought it, and I'm looking through the crowd. I'm like, thank you, like that. And women were buying me drinks all night, not knowing that I was the guy with the big white beard a week before. They thought I was someone new. Quite interesting, right? So I said to the bartender, I said, how much are these worth? She said, they're probably about $8 each, because it covers a beer or a mixed drink. And I said, can I trade all of them in for a grilled chicken Caesar salad? So I ended up having dinner that night on the ladies. That was kind of neat. Groom like a man. Dress like a man. We used to think clean cut meant clean shaven. That's not the case. A well-groomed beard is the new clean cut. A well-groomed beard is the new clean cut. You can get away with more now than you ever have been able to in history. Groom like a man, dress like a man. People size you up in 3 seconds. They make an opinion about you even before you open your mouth. Number 11, realize that you are the CEO of a company that produces a very hot product called you. You are the product. What do you do with that product? We like talking about being the best version of yourself. How can you be the best version of yourself? When you buy a car, some cars take high-octane gas because that is the preferred fuel for that vehicle to run optimally. You don't want to put the cheap gas in it because the engine doesn't work well. Your food and your drink is your fuel. You know what you need to run optimally, just like that luxury exotic car. And I'm not preachy about alcohol or food or anything like that. You have to decide what is best for you, what's going to help you sleep well, what's going to help you perform well, what's going to help you have longevity. That's super important. If you don't place a high value on you, then never expect anyone else to place a high value on you. I will say that again. If you don't place a high value on you, don't ever expect anyone else to place a high value on you. The responsible red-pilled man has a plan for his life. It's been said that if you don't have a plan for your life, there will always be somebody else who's happy to include you in their plan. This is worth repeating. If you don't have a plan for your life, there will always be someone else who will be happy to include you in their plan. Everyone is here because you're a leader. You are CEO of You Incorporated. You are special, and I believe in you. I expect things to be sparked here during this weekend that never got sparked before. Businesses to be started, women to be asked out, relationships to be healed and restarted, rebooted, dreams and visions to be created. Last but not least, your sexuality is a gift. And I'm not going to be a buzzkill. I don't want to be a buzzkill. The highest and best use of your dick is to make babies and create a legacy. Life does not revolve around 5 seconds of biological pleasure. But it's amazing how that 5 seconds of pleasure can release the stress of a 12-hour workday. Isn't that amazing? You got to go to the gym for an hour and a half to relieve stress. You got to meditate for 20 minutes to relieve stress. You got to get an hour-long massage to relieve stress. But 5 seconds of sexual release can take the savage beast and calm him down. It's important. Don't neglect it. My hand can be used to fight, protect, defend, but it also can be used to calm a crying child, to comfort a woman. I'm walking with my wife down an alley, and there were 4 men walking towards us. I felt her nervousness. I just reached over and held her hand firmly. She says, "Thank you." Just the touch, the mere touch of my hand, calmed her. Because calm is one of the characteristics of a responsible, red-pilled man. Hands have multiple purposes. Later that night, I can give my wife pleasure with the very hand that protected her and calmed her. It's a beautiful thing. The same thing goes with your sexual apparatus. Your life doesn't revolve around it. It has multiple uses. At different stages in your life, it serves different purposes for pleasure, for procreating. It's a beautiful thing. Do you want to be known as a man who calms people? I was at a bar in Florida, and one guy was threatening to fight another man. He got offended about something. And for many years, I worked as a bouncer in a strip club. Not because I'm 6'6" and 275 pounds, but because I have a calming presence. And I'm happy to greet people. And I welcome them into my home that happens to have poles in it and naked girls dancing around it. And I saw this man and this other man getting ready to fight, and I went up to the guy that was about ready to throw a punch, and I put my arm around him with this hand, and I put it on his shoulder, and I pulled him in close. I said, "It's all right, bro. It's all right. Hey, how do you like the band? Are they pretty good tonight?" And I said, "Take a breath, man. Just take a breath." Like that. I said, "Let's take a walk over it." And I would not let him leave me. Let's take a little walk. It was pretty frustrating, wasn't it? Yeah. And I wasn't letting him go. I said, "We're going to have a good night tonight, right?" He says, "Yeah." "So you're going to calm down, right?" He says, "Yeah." I said, "I'm going to let go of you right now, and you're going to shake my hand. Right?" He hesitated, and he goes, "Yeah." I said, "All right." And then I loosened my grip on him. I shook his hand. He calmed down. He followed my lead. Gentlemen, say with me one more time, follow my lead. You're awesome. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Can you expand a little bit on how you cultivate this calmness?
It starts on the inside. Calmness is a decision. It's very closely linked to your decisiveness. That's why I like calling myself the stable stoic, because I am the guy that is calm when everyone else is rough. And ever since my hair turned gray, I always said when shit hits the fan, people look for the guy with gray hair because he's the calmest. You know, it's like, like for instance, the amount of wisdom in a room full of gray-haired people is amazing. And I want you to take advantage of that. Whenever you see old guys, ask old guys what life was like when they were young. But that calmness is a decision that you make. It's volitional. It's not an accident. You practice it. Other questions? Yes?
The tendency nowadays for men to just sling on a t-shirt and jeans, which I'm very guilty of. Is that, in your opinion, is that like an abrogation of responsibility in terms of just...
Say that question one more time, I'm sorry.
The decision to not, like you've got the tie and the blazer.
Yes.
My decision to wear jeans and a t-shirt, am I abrogating my responsibility in some sense?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I come from an era where well-dressed meant a tie and a jacket. I have a haircutting client that tells me his father, they lived in the outskirts of town, they had a farm, and he said his father would, and this is back during like the 40s, his father would never go into town without a suit. We say suit and tie, but a suit and a hat. He wouldn't be seen in town without a proper hat on. So I believe it's the era. I believe it's the era. Our genes in it, there's a lot of different ways, like my brother Tony. Some of you know my brother Tony, Bruno. He can wear a suit, but he rocks jeans and a t-shirt so well that when he does wear a suit, he doesn't look right. It doesn't look right on him. And a lot of it depends on your body, too. Think about it. Not everyone looks good in a t-shirt. Not everyone looks great in a suit. Maybe a compromise might be a sport coat of some type. Like some of the newer sport coats that aren't as angular in the shoulders and they're like microfiber, which means you could roll them up in a ball, take them out of a suitcase, shake it, and there's no wrinkles in it, and it just kind of elevates a look just like another degree. If you're a man in a room of men wearing jeans and t-shirts, the guy with the sport coat is just going to be a little more noticeable. That is, if you want to be noticed. I always say, like Grant Cardone says, if I don't know you, my money can't flow to you. Me knowing you is important for you to make money, and it's your responsibility that I know you. If I forget your name, it's my fault. So when I talk to you, I might say your name 2 or 3 times in a conversation. I know as I've gotten older, this just leads me to another topic. I used to run a networking group that had about 400 or 500 people on it. And then it grew to about 3,000. And I would be at the door greeting people as they walked in, men and women shaking their hands. What is your name? And what do you do for a living? What is your role? What do you do? And the next month I would see them, I'd be like, John, how's it going in the accounting firm? He said, oh, you remembered. That's the most important thing you can remember about somebody is their name and what they do. Keep that in mind. After the group was about 400 people, I could easily retain, I had enough in my hard drive to remember the names of people and what they do, about 400. After the group got over 400 or 500, I would say, what's your name again? And what do you do again? So I found my limit. And everyone will have, some of you might remember 1,000 names. Some of you might only remember 200 names. But that's important to do. But it's your responsibility to know people's names, and it's your responsibility for people to know who you are and what you do. Take full extreme ownership of what people think of you. There's no accidents, there's no randomness. People have to know you and what you stand for. Questions? Yes, sir.
A lot of men today, they don't have a very good grasp of basic etiquette. For example, I get emails from people that look like they were written by a child.
Yeah.
And business people that are actually of a higher status than me sometimes. And what are some good sources that men can use to learn, etiquette, social, business, every type of etiquette?
One of the things I discovered was I got into fountain pens recently. I would say get yourself a fountain pen. Do your writing with fountain pens. It slows you down. It makes you think in ways that you never thought before. Simple things like that when writing business letters. Write a letter versus writing an email. Write a note versus just sending a text. Super important. And I find that when I do it with a fountain pen versus a ballpoint pen, I write slower, I focus more on style, I think about what I'm saying. And I'm a pretty fast typist. I can type as fast as you can talk, or even faster. But I find that when I write with a fountain pen, I have to really slow myself down. And that's something that we have to do. As far as business etiquette is concerned, my children will call you Mr. whatever your last name is until you direct them to say, oh, no, call me John, call me Noah, call me Rick, call me Matt. They will call you Mr. So-and-so because I taught them. That is Miss So-and-so or Mr. So-and-so Until they tell you that you can call them by their first name, that's who they are. And that's how my kids were raised. So with everybody in business, it's Mr. or Miss. And that's a sign of a gentleman. It's a sign of respect. Other questions? Yes, sir.
12th point, have a plan for your life. Could you throw out a couple of questions, how to get closer there, how to get to having a plan for your life?
Yeah. I always tell people this. Your sweet spot consists of two things: what you enjoy and what you do well. Write things down on paper. You'll never see me without a pad and pen. Never. Doesn't matter where I am, I always have a pad and pen on me. I like field notes, that little 3x5, 3x6 pad of paper, keep in my back pocket at all times. And I'm always writing things down. Writing things down is different than typing things down or using Evernote or anything on your phone. Take my word for it. When you write, there's a different neurological activity when you write than when you type or text. Write things down. So, what are you good at? What do you enjoy? Your sweet spot, where you're going to earn the most, what you're going to enjoy doing the most, is what you're good at and what you enjoy doing. Those two things, when they intersect, that's the beginning of a new life for you.